What's up, Style Esports fans? We've got some more action for you this evening. You've got Crewman44 and RareAdam on the cast. On the Rift, you've got Neurolegion Gaming going up against New World Warriors. It's going to be an exciting one tonight. These are two of the lower ranked teams, I believe, in the standings, RareAdam. But regardless, we should see some exciting gameplay here.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what both of these teams have in store. A lot of times we take for granted the fact that we always have a lot of these higher end teams that, we still have to understand. This league is open to a lot of people, and I'm really interested to see what these two teams have in store for us. We can already see the first picks and bans coming through, and one thing I always like to point out is, comfort is key, and a lot of these bans may not be the top of the meta picks, but Luck's first pick here is a big change up from what we've been seeing, which is Misfortune first pick or Yuumi first pick almost every single game.
Yeah, I do want to point out really quickly here, both of our mid laners this evening, Ratas and Aeon, are both one tricks. And, respectively, Anivia and Heimerdinger. So not at all surprised to see those two champions banned away here. Makes perfect sense. We are seeing the Misfortune locked away here for Neurolegion. We do know that the pick is extremely strong in the meta right now. So what kind of support they want to pair it with? The Zillion, which is not necessarily too meta here, RareAdam. But what do you think of that bot lane pairing here?
If it is the Zillion going into the bot lane, it just means Misfortune's going to go really fast everywhere, which is kind of fun to see. Interestingly enough, Ashe is going to get picked up as the answer. It provides you a lot of kiting. It provides you pick potential as well. And I guess on paper, at level 6, it should be able to outmatch Misfortune because you can shut off her ultimate. So it seems to be an interesting pick coming through from Ugly James, but if we want to talk about comfort, Rammus is definitely something that can be comfortable for a lot of these junglers and provides a lot of crowd control as well. So I'm interested to see how this works out.
Okay, so Rammus is by far the most played champion for the New World Warriors jungler, Rich Forever here. He has 196 games on Rammus and only a 54% win rate, which is, good but not great. But it is certainly a comfort pick here for the Warriors. See what the response is here. The Ornn locked in for Neurolegion Academy. So that is a blind pick, most likely towards the top lane. I guess theoretically the Ornn could be flexed into another position, but that's an interesting choice from Neurolegion to lock in their top laner here to round out the first phase of pick.
Yeah, Ornn may be just seen as a little bit of a front line to an extent. We want to see, especially in these games, a little bit more of a tank frontline. But with the Amumu locked in here, there's a little bit more flexibility coming through. That could be a Amumu jungle, or it could be a Amumu support, and we saw.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think the Amumu support is actually pretty likely here, Adam, considering the Misfortune. I mean, the Zillion is already locked in, so it would require a flex of the Zillion into the mid lane. I'm not sure that's actually something that Aeon Zadok plays over there in mid, but the Amumu Misfortune lane is very, very popular these days. Curse of the Sad Bullet Time, I think, is the affectionate nickname for the ultimate combo there. But it's going to be the Annie Renekton locked in here for the New World Warriors. We are going to see their composition rounded out here. Some pretty strong lanes. What do you think about that Renekton into Ornn matchup, though, there, Adam?
Renekton into Ornn is interesting, because we get a little bit more frontline for the side of New World Warriors. You can see that you have, of course, your big Rammus, but Renekton can act as a bruiser and can sometimes bully out some of those more passive laners like the Ornn. So really going to be interesting to see how the Renekton is able to move into the later stages of the game, where often Renektons can get lost in the sauce a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you're saying that the Renekton is going to have a chance to bully the Ornn, but once Ornn gets those steel caps and that Bramble Vest online, Renekton's pretty much going to stop doing damage to him. So, we'll see if Buttery Dog is able to get any kind of laning advantage here in the early game, which is usually what Renekton is picked for, what the champion is known for, of course. The last pick, Veigar, for Neurolegion here, I find to be quite interesting. Matching the short-range burst mage of Annie with more short-range burst. Definitely seems like a bit of a skill matchup here between Ratas and Aeon Zadok based on the champions that have been selected.
Yeah, the Veigar actually provides a really good zone control, and I think Neuro Legion Academy in general just have a lot more of that zone control. It's gonna be interesting to see where everything goes out. I think this is gonna be a Mumu for Lotus in the jungle and Zillion in the support position as we were expecting, Veigar in the mid lane. So no Curse of the Sad Bullet time in lane, but you still have the potential coming through from the jungle. You have the Veigar cage on top of that, as well as an Ornn ultimate. So Neuro Legion Academy just have a really, really strong team fight potential. You have so much zone control with all of those ultimates in the cage, and you can just drop all of them on top of the enemy team of New World Warriors here and just have a really rough time getting through.
Yeah, definitely. And one other thing that I want to shout out here, RareAdam, I'm continuing to look at the stats here for these players. Magnificent, the support player for the side of New World Warriors. Actually, Annie is by far his most played. He has got a 57% win rate on the Annie. It's easily his most comfortable champ. So I'm thinking there's a potential flex here of the Annie down into the support position, and maybe Lux going in towards the mid lane here, matching up against the Veigar.
Yeah, I think that Annie does have an okay time into the Veigar simply by virtue of the fact that she has enough range that she never really needs to walk up too close to this Veigar. If the cage is getting put down, you're going to see the movement forward from the Veigar to try and answer that, but Annie can generally keep her space. And especially at level 6, she has the potential to flash Tibbers on top of someone, and she carries a lot of burst potential that Veigar can also carry, but it comes with a little bit more crowd control. So going to be interested to see how that works out. I'm really interested to see how Rich Forever and Buttery Dog are able to team up in that early game, though, because Ornn can have a little bit of safety with that Searing Charge. Mumu, not the easiest to take down either, but I think that combo can really lock someone down for an extended period of time, and I want to see them link up.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, when you have such a strong laning champion like the Renekton, you want to be able to play around that in the early game, right? So absolutely, I think Rich Forever, if he's able to make any kind of moves towards that top side, that could be looking pretty good here for the New World Warriors. We'll have to see what he decides to prioritize. Rammus, of course, in general, is not a super strong early game jungler. He generally likes to get an item or two, wants to be able to stack up that armor a little bit before he can really reach his full fighting potential. But, you know, when you have such a strong laner in place already, then there is absolutely potential to make some things happen here in the early game. We are seeing the Annie going into the hands of Ratas here in the mid lane, so my guesswork there that the Annie might be swapped down to support did not come through. It is going to be the Annie mid and the Ashe Lux lane down there on bot side for the Warriors, matching up against that Misfortune Zillion combo. It is coming through from Neuro Legion.
Yeah, I think that Ashe Lux presents a little bit of an interesting situation. You have a lot of early potential to kill. Of course, Ashe getting her volley nerfed means that it isn't as easy to take down someone like the Misfortune and Zillion, both of whom have some movement speed steroids in their kit, but you toss on top a volley to a light binding to the Lucent Singularity, Lux's E. You have a lot of slow potential that can potentially lead to a kill. So going to be curious to see how that bot lane works out, because there is potential to have a little bit of action down here, and especially with the gank potential of these junglers. Not saying it's great early game, but it is gank potential nonetheless. You have double bandage toss. You have Rammus going in with the taunt and the roll. There are ways for them to get kills here, and I think this is going to be an explosive early game that can lead to an explosive mid game and late game.
Well, that certainly would be fun to watch and fun to cast, RareAdam, so I hope that is indeed the case. I like your point about the double slow bot lane here for the side of New World Warriors. It definitely is interesting. It's a little bit of a story down here in the bot lane of double slow versus double zoom. You've got the strut on the Misfortune, and of course Zillion has his speed up as well. So we're playing around with movement speed down here in bot side.
Yeah, we'll see which is sort of which trumps in the end, because Misfortune, of course, her strut gives her just flat movement speed, whereas like slows in general, they slow you by a certain amount. So we'll see if that ends up mattering in any way. I'm just really curious to see how both of these teams sort of play out their early game. Really interested in that top side, especially because Ornn can definitely get punished, but is always a late game insurance policy. So even if the side of Neurolegion Academy may fall behind a little bit in that early game due to this lane pressure, they should be able to pick it back up relatively easily.
Yeah, I think we can transition here, RareAdam, into a scaling discussion. One of these teams does have Veigar plus Ornn. Would you say that they have an extremely significant scaling advantage on the side of Neurolegion if we do go late here?
I think they definitely have the better late game. Renekton falls off like a truck, in my opinion, and Ashe, when it comes to late game, can sometimes struggle because she has a pick ultimate as opposed to a lot of teamfight damage. If she's left untouched, she should be fine, but when you have to deal with Veigar, Amumu, Ornn, Zilean, so much crowd control that can be placed in an area of effect, it means that Ashe needs to be incredibly careful walking up and can generally might just be burst down instantly off the fight, whereas Miss Fortune has a lot more safety nets because Ornn, Amumu, and Veigar can also use their skills to peel, preventing Remus and Renekton from getting right on top. So I think the scaling advantage has to go for Neurolegion Academy, and in that vein, I have to say that I give them the draft advantage here.
Okay, well, we'll see if that draft is enough to pull them through to a Game 1 victory here. It is going to be a little bit of a battle between the junglers here in the early game, where they decide to path, what lanes they decide to prioritize. It's going to be an exciting one here tonight, folks. We are, I think, going to be going to a short break here while the teams load onto the Rift. Your casters are going to need to get set up, but don't go anywhere. Game 1 is right around the corner.
In 3.
On to the Rift here, ladies and gents, for game number 1, New World Warriors versus Neurolegion Academy. Take a look and see what these two squads are bringing to the table here tonight. We've got a little bit of a stack here coming through from NLA here. Game number 1, they just want to fortify this bot side river, make sure no delayed invades end up coming through, and they will be able to successfully dissuade that. But it does appear that New World Warriors were never looking for anything in the first place.
Yeah, I think that especially for New World Warriors, you can't really invade into a Zilean or into the potential of an Ornn. Too much damage coming through on the opposite side, but looks like both teams are just going to set their battle lines to begin with. 5-point start as I dare say standard, and doesn't look like there's going to be any sort of crazy vision put down either. So relatively calm early game at least. There is a little bit of a deep ward on the side of Neurolegion Academy there. You can see that blue ward right next to red buff, but I don't know if it really spotted anyone out apart from Vagar just kind of walking around in the area.
Yeah, they did see Lurty, I think, walking up there towards that jungle as well. So perhaps able to deduce the topside start for the Amumu, but certainly no crystal clear vision there for the side of the Warriors. Nice double tap there. Able to get the Q through the minion there. I'm Dalen on the Misfortune.
Yeah, and this bot lane should go in favor of that Misfortune and Zillion in the early game. They have the push advantage, especially considering Magnificent did take the Q level 1, the light binding, looking for potentially an all-in, but Ugly James still taking a decent chunk of damage from that Misfortune. She did take the Comet, so when she tosses her double up, it will do some decent chunks alongside that Comet.
We've got a little bit of an interesting jungle path here for Lotus, as a late binding does not connect. Kind of looked like it did because Dalen just happened to stop moving for a second, but didn't actually land that one, as the Amumu is started topside and then rotated down, is looking at a little bit of a 5-camp clear here for the Amumu. He's very much ahead of the Rammus right now in CS and in tempo, but we'll see. Looks like Rich Forever maybe looking for something in the mid lane right now.
I think the path from Amumu is interesting, but we'll be coming bot lane at level 3 here. This is a really good opportunity.
Oh, yeah, this is a great window. Lands the bandage toss onto Magnificent. Lux flashing away now, trying to stay alive. Does connect to the light binding, but they're not going to have enough damage to turn this one around. Burning the flash on the warrior support. Nice gank from Lotus.
Yeah, really well played from Lotus to be able to come down. While I don't really like the exact jungle pathing, it worked out. And that's all that really matters in the end, but topside, Buttery Dog should be winning
that's a
this.
knock up. Lurdy looking for something. The Renekton is quite low here.
No.
He's sticking around anyways, popping the potion now, trying to stay alive. But Buttery Dog, I think, is in some trouble here. The Q connects, and there's the W for the slow, and there's a flash forward. Lurdy secures it. First blood for the assassin, tank, mage, bruiser, fighter in the top lane.
Yeah, Orin just kind of bonks him down at the end of that one. Really unfortunate from Renekton. Also want to point out, that's Dark Harvest Renekton? That's something new.
Ooh. Yeah, maybe a little bit of a misplay there on Buttery Dog and rune selection, because that can't be right.
Who knows? I mean, it is Aftershock on Ornn as well, which is really interesting considering it is a melee versus melee matchup. Oftentimes, you'll see them go Grasp of the Undying, or if it's a rough lane matchup, they go Spellbook, but opting for the Aftershock here and actually going to stick around in this lane. This is the power of Ornn. You can just sort of buy your item as you go. Has the Bramble Vest. And
he is in the bush, right?
Dog. Yes, he is in the bush.
Oh,
it looks weird on spec, but Buttery Dog does not see this.
Oh, he does get a knock up onto Buttery Dog. Maybe going down for a second time here. No. Ornn can't chase under the tower. Buttery Dog's walking back up here. That Ornn, the Searing Charge, not quite off of cooldown. But Renekton has got to be careful here. He's already used TP. He's already down to 300 health. Lurdy could even potentially go for a dive here.
Yeah, Lurdy's actually closer to 6 as well, so maybe if the pressure is kept up, they could go for a dive, but only the Bramble Vest, so no real, not a lot of health pool, which is the main issue. It's not so much the armor that really matters when it comes to towers, but bot side, Ugly James. Oof.
Yeah, that is a lot of damage onto the Ashe there. But he is going to be okay. He has his support returning to lane, and also his jungler is in the area. So if MF and Zillion play this too aggressively, they could find themselves in a little bit of trouble. Rich looks like he's just going back to the Krugs for now.
Just gonna roll around.
Just Rammus things, right? We do have the teleport back into top lane here for Lurdy, looking to continue to apply that pressure. The Ornn is down a significant amount of CS here, Adam. It looks like the wave is pushing towards him, but that is a little bit interesting to me, considering the fact that he did get the kill and has seemed to have a decent amount of pressure up here.
Yeah, I think the main thing is just micro coming through from Lurdy. Has been using a lot of spells on Buttery Dog as well as the minions, which might make it a little bit harder.
Here comes the call of the Forge God. We're looking for the all-in here. Does get the double knock-up. The Renekton has taken so much damage. The Q finishes it off. Lurdy 2-0 on the Horde.
Yeah, who cares about CS when you can just pick up solo kills like that? Really well played coming through, but bot side of engage.
In some trouble now. Which Trevor is going to be able to get away, but now Magnificent eats the second charge of the bandage toss, and he is just going to be going down here. Rich Forever turns around to try and make the salvage something out of this play.
Oh!
And they actually are going to get the kill onto Lotus. The teleport in there from Ratas was huge, able to turn that fight around with the help of the Annie there. And not sure what Zadok on the Veigar was doing. It looks like he just had to reset to base, and Ratas was able to find the window to roam down to bot lane and help his team win that fight.
Yeah, really well played coming through from Radas to teleport down, had Tibbers at the right moment, and this is what we said. At level 6, Annie has a lot of burst, just went away from the Veigar, didn't have to worry about that, and now they're potentially looking at this dragon, but might be a fight back here, actually.
It is the dragon getting focused on. Rich Forever on the Rams, getting extremely low. That was the heal burned out of Ugly James just to keep his jungler alive, but it is Dalen who went a little bit too far forward. Not really sure what the Misfortune was doing there. As that didn't really seem like a great spot for him to be. But regardless, we'll go down. We are now 3-3 in kills. Gold is dead even here as the top laner is continuing to brawl. That's another knockup. Lurdy is really just dialing in these orange skill shots. Buttery Dog, stop autoing him. You're losing the trade. Just give it up, my croc.
Yeah, Buttery Dog's just not having a really fun time against this Ornn. In general, Renekton ends up losing that matchup after a while, but considering the early kills going over to Ornn, he just gets to sit here and whack these minions down and really doesn't care about the Renekton's damage. You can see only the Phage coming through compared to the Bombies as well as that Bramble Vest. So Lurdy's just going to continue to lurk around and look for engages, and if Lotus is able to come up at level 6, there could be the potential for a dive, bar any sort of crazy Dominus saves.
Look at this. Buttery Dog just trying to farm under tower and still eating all of these skill shots. Did you guys know that Ornn is also a poke champion? Because apparently he is. Buttery Dog is finding that one out the hard way. And yeah, I mean, honestly, RareAdam, why does anybody still pick Renekton? Like, he's got nerfed so many times.
I mean, that's what I say, but it could be a comfort thing. Then again, it might have just been a mishap with the Dark Harvest Renekton as well. Maybe.
Oh, that is the little bit of an all-in here in mid lane. Ratas looking for it. That is the Veigar W coming down, trying to dissuade that one from coming through. But here comes Rammus in bot side. That is the Light Binding coming through. And here comes the Rammus ultimate. He's going to lock up the Misfortune. Dalen is going to go down for the 3rd time this game. He has been almost every single one of New World Warriors' kills so far. Comes Carl's Forge Guy. Gonna get the knockup onto Renekton. Looking for a little bit more here. Gonna be able to get the stun here. There's the charge. Renekton, Buttery Dog in some trouble here, but no. He is able to escape underneath his tower and survive.
Ratas.
And another big minion wave for the Renekton to pick up. Ratas is here. He's looking for the stun onto Ornn. Oh, no. Ornn is completely out of mana. He needs one more auto attack, and he's not gonna be able to find it. Shutdown comes through from Ratas 3-0 for the New World Warriors mid laner.
That was a really odd flash coming through from Renekton as well, but I mean, if it works, it works. Is able to sort of juke out Lurdy a little bit, and they're able to pick up that kill, and Ratas is doing really well thus far, just able to roam around at will, and so thus far, Zadok hasn't had the answers quite yet, and while this Veigar is farming up quite nicely, looking at the stacks on this Veigar right now, only 46 stacks of that phenomenal evil power, so won't be packing as much of a punch quite yet.
Yeah, Veigar does need a little bit more time still to scale into this one. Yeah, he's going to want to stack up those Qs, stack up that passive for a few more minutes still. As, you know, we discussed already here, RareAdam, the scaling advantage does seem to be on the side of Neurolegion Academy. And while they don't have the gold lead right now, they have been able to keep this one pretty close up until this point. The Ornn definitely has a significant advantage up there on top side, about 600, 700 gold ahead of the Renekton. And, you know, Dalen has been struggling a little bit down here. He has suffered a lot of attention. Oh, that's a Bandage Toss that is just going to go wide from Lotus here. We've also got to play in the top side, 2v1 onto the Ornn, but he's able to just charge away and be fine. Rift Herald summoned up on bot side. Going to be able to get the charge in here into this bot lane tier 1. No turret plays taken just yet, besides those two. The bullet time almost able to get the kill on the Magnificent there. The Lux is just barely able to sneak away from that one. Oh, the Ash ultimate. Ugly James sees the angle, and he is able to pick up that kill on a Precious Cupcake, who did not respect the power of the Crystal Arrow. Now a Mumu in some trouble here. Gonna get taunted up. Gonna get taken down, almost able to trade back onto Ratas. Would have been a nice little shutdown, little return kill for Lotus there, but not able to find it. Kill credit is going over to Rich Forever. First kill of the game for the Turtle.
I mean, I'm just thinking this entire time a scaling advantage because Renekton actually has scale, so he wins it. But in the end, we get pulled down bot lane, and really well played from Ugly James as well as Rich Forever, keeping Ratas alive there with like the double-digit HP somewhere in that range, and they're able to pick up that extra kill onto Lotus. But this game is starting to go in favor of New World Warriors. I still think that in terms of champions, yes, scaling does go in favor of Neural Legion, and they're keeping it close enough to make sure that they still have that possibility.
Yeah, absolutely. Quite right there, RareAdam. Lurdy is just continuing to push in these top waves, just not letting Renekton really do anything besides farm the minions here so far in this one. We'll see if Buttery Dog is able to find his mark on this game a little bit later on. But he has been struggling so far, as we do see a bot river control taken over by the side of Neural Legion Academy, excuse me. As the Call of the Forge God is getting dropped here. We have the knockup onto Magnificent. The Lux is in a lot of trouble here. Does not have the flash quite off cooldown yet. There's the Veigar ultimate. A little bit more damage required. There is the kill. But a nice bullet time over the top. That's got a lot of damage coming out from Dalen as well. But he's getting extremely low. Forced to flash away now from the Renekton. The Renekton chasing a little bit too far forward into the heart of that Neural Legion composition. They're able to take him out. 2 for nothing. Neural Legion win the team fight there, folks. Looking towards the dragon now. That is a knockup onto Ratas now. The Annie has a shutdown on her still. Rich Forever is in the pit. He's actually able to get the smite onto the dragon. 2-0 now in terms of dragons in favor of New World Warriors. I'm really disappointed in Neural Legion there. I don't know how you can keep focusing the dragon while the enemy jungler is in the pit like that.
Regardless, they're able to pick up a couple of kills, and I think that considering the fact that they will look better come late game, Neural Legion are in a better position. They're up 500 gold. They may be down in terms of those dragons, but they look poised to start to make some more plays around the map. We saw a really good play coming through from Aeon there to pick up, to get on the board for the first time this game, and overall, a decent gold swing has been going back in their favor, so we'll have to keep our eye on New World Warriors to see what they ought to do moving forward, because as of right now, they might be in a little bit of a tighter position than I think they realize.
Yeah, well, they were able to pick up that second dragon here, Adam, so they are going to be on potentially Ocean Soul Point if they're able to pick up this third one, which of course does still remain to be seen. But honestly, Rich Forever been having a pretty decent game so far on the Rammus. He is a little bit behind, just a couple of camps behind Lotus here on the Amumu, but he has more kill participation and obviously more objectives as well. So we'll see if that is able to continue to come through as the stun does come through onto Ratas here in the mid lane. That's a lot of damage. Veigar with the burst is able to 100-0. Ratas here in the mid lane. A solo kill for Zadak as the light binding is able to connect. Precious Cupcake just kind of walked into that one, and he is going to get taken out. That is both summoners used by Magnificent, but well worth it as he is able to get a kill onto the enemy support.
Precious Cupcake
looking for something
has
now.
ult up too. Ooh. Is
going to be able to ult forward here. Going to get the taunt onto Veigar, but Lotus is in the area for the counter gank. And that is the Rammus ultimate used for absolutely nothing.
Yeah, Rammus ult just to try and get on top of Aeon Zadok. I don't think that Rich Forever remembered that that ultimate can go through the cage, and maybe getting a little bit of an earlier engage might lead to some better solutions. But Precious Cupcake dies with Chrono Shift up. That's just unlucky in some ways, but Magnificent now in trouble.
You say he's in trouble. I say he's dead. Because
Which
he
is in trouble, yeah.
As Ugly James would have been in trouble if that Bandage Toss had connected. Fortunately for him, it did not. And Lotus will just kind of despondently wander back into the jungle as the Call of the Forge God is coming through there. But Lurdy is going to completely whiff on his own ultimate, which is a little bit unlucky, as now Zadak is in a very unfortunate position and will get shut down by the Rammus. Buttery Dog now is still a level down on the Ornn, but he has his team in the area, which means that Lurdy is not going to be able to solo kill the Crocodile this time around. He is still hanging around with this Rift Herald for some reason, despite the fact that his jungler is nowhere near. And the Herald will be secured as the Enchanted Crystal Arrow does connect onto our precious Cupcake, but he is going to be just fine as he was not taking turret aggro this time around. The objective dominance, objective control for the side of New World Warriors continuing to come through here, Adam, in game number 1.
We are going to be interested in seeing how the rest of this game turns out, because there's been a lot of action, but not a whole lot of objective taking thus far. The Dragon's really the only part that have gone down, but 17 minutes in, there's no towers been taken.
That is true. Neither team on the board yet in terms of turrets, as a Buttery Dog is continuing to take a lot of damage. But Lotus now, with the Curse of the Sad Mummy, is going to lock up Ratas, and there is the baby cage. Zadak with the follow-up. And meanwhile, in bot side, Dalen able to pick up a kill with the bullet time as well. But that's a flash forward, but Ugly James, the Misfortune has Chrono Shift on. What are you doing, James? He's just flashing forward into his own death. And now Buttery Dog teleported in to die as well.
Oh, what's this?
Zadak here is throwing down the cage. He's able to prevent the Rammus from getting the taunt immediately, but he is able to find it very shortly here as Rich Forever is just continuing to lock up. But no, what's this? Lotus is here for the return. The counter gank once again. The Amumu able to turn that fight around in the mid lane. It is Rich Forever going down. And across the map here, it's the side of Nerd Legion Academy continuing to gain advantages.
Yeah, just Buttery Dog sort of came in there a little late and just a little bit confusing gameplay overall there. At the end of the day, it is good for this Misfortune to get herself back in this game, and Precious Cupcake gets a really meaningful ult off at the end of that to make sure that Dalen's able to survive. Aeon and Zadak able to pick up another kill in the bank, and this Veigar is just going to continue to scale up.
Okay, Lurdy gonna find Ratas here, and the Annie is not gonna be very happy about that because she's 2 levels down on Ornn right now and will immediately flash away. So flash down for the Warriors mid laners. That is a light binding final spark combo for Magnificent, but he's gonna get locked up straight into the bandage toss, and there is plenty of damage for Neuro Legion here. They are just going to completely obliterate that Lux once again and turn their attention towards this dragon, which is very, very necessary. Considering the fact that they want to stop this. Rammus into the pit! Rammus looking for the steal, not going to be able to find it. Lotus secures the objective, which Forever trying to flash out now, trying to stay alive, is just barely hanging on and will be able to roll on out of there, but the mid laner will be sacrificed. Ratas started off 3-0, now 3-3.
Yeah, just been a little bit unfortunate in terms of positioning in the last couple of fights. They've had a lot of commitment come out, or come back against them from the side of Neuro Legion Academy, and especially with their team getting some of those key items. You can see the Rhymeforged Grasp already finished on that Ornn, so he's going to be tanky. This Yomu's on the Misfortune is making sure she's dishing out the damage, on top of the fact that Aeon Zadak has really kind of come online. Last time we checked was at 45 stacks at about, the 10-minute mark, and now sitting on 147 stacks, so has been scaling a lot better in the last couple of plays. A little bit of the benefit of getting a couple of those kills, but now Magnificent might be in trouble.
Good patience there, waiting out the cage, just waited for it to disappear before trying to get out of there. Good patience from Magnificent to see if he had walked into that stun, he for sure would have gone down again. So did not go down there in the mid lane, able to back safely underneath the turret there. But it's the side of Neuro Legion continuing to pressure forwards here, continuing to look for these objectives. One more auto attack and that turret will go down. Everfrost is going to be able to get the stun of the Zillion Bomb. Oh, it will be the Veigar Q that actually seals the deal even better. Zadak able to get some more stacks.
Yeah, and the Zadak has just kind of turned around this lane. We saw this Annie roaming around so much. Zadak was just biding their time until they could start to come online, and at this point this Veigar is going to be very difficult to take down. Gold lead up to about 5,000 gold as well in favor of Neuro Legion Academy, and that is the last thing that you want to see if you are New World Warriors. It's going to be so difficult to shut down some of these members, especially with the zone control we were talking about, and yeah, it's not looking good.
We did just witness the last outer turret for the Warriors go down here. They are down 3 turrets to 1 in favor of Neuro Legion Academy here. Gold lead has extended to over 5,000. Quite significant here, 21 minutes in. Zadak continuing to look for those stuns, continuing to look for those potential burst combos onto Ratos here on the Annie. Not able to find it just yet. Ugly James is able to get some good damage down here onto the top lane tier 1 of their opponents. And Rammus is in the area as well. So we're seeing a rotation up here from Zadok. It's going to be a 3v3 up here in top side. And also a 1v or a 2v2 down here in bottom lane. As we're going to have both fights at once. Zadok able to take out Ashe here at the start of this one. Ugly James already taken out. Now Rich Forever in a really bad spot. Trapped up by the baby cage. She just has absolutely nowhere to go. Dalen able to pick up another kill. 2-0 right now. Neuro Legion able to win out across the map. Buttery Dog and Raja's just kind of dancing around down here in bot lane, while the rest of their team is just getting completely obliterated. The flash bandage toss from Lotus, able to pick up number 3, and it's going to be Neuro Legion Academy winning through topside.
Yeah, it's going to be Neuro Legion Academy picking up 3 unanswered kills once again. We saw the teleport come through from Ratas, but it was just too late. Didn't have Tibbers available for that big stun, and it just wasn't in the right place. I think Ratas needs to try and teleport up there earlier, but we saw how much side lane pressure Lurty was able to put down as well, and this is starting to scale out of control. We're up to about 7,000 gold lead, and is going to continue to push forward.
Yeah, absolutely. The gold lead continuing to expand here for NLA. Ratas just taking so much damage there. Wanted to try and get in range of the Veigar to maybe cast a spell. But Aeon said, no thank you. I'll do damage to you, and that is all. And that is exactly what happened. They are able to comfortably disengage from that one. Just have the Banshee's Veil completed even here for Aeon Zadok, able to get some additional safety with that item choice.
Yep, definitely going to be feeling really safe now when faced up against an Ashe Arrow, when faced up against a Rammus Taunt or a Knockup. Anything of that sort will end up... Oh, never mind. Just going to get that pop by volley. Forget everything I just said.
Sorry, I baited you there, Adam. My bad. I was like, Banshee's Veil, what an item. Loses it immediately. As Golf the Forge God is going to come down here.
No.
Is going to nail the knockup onto Magnificent. Lux in some trouble here. Going to try and throw out the final spark, but can't even get the cast off. Just gets absolutely popped. And that is going to be 19-9. NLA continuing to dominate here in game number 1. Going to look to pick up their second dragon here. Potential ocean stacking. Rich Forever is kind of hanging around off on the flank here. Wants to try and find a way into the pit to maybe go for a steal. But Lurdy doing some excellent zoning here on the Ornn, and it will be secured by Lotus. Easy peasy. 2-2 now in Dragons. And that was the only metric in which New World Warriors still had the advantage. So looking pretty grim for him at this point here, Adam.
Yeah, they're going to have to go up against the Ornn as well with Ocean Soul, who's going to be incredibly difficult to take down. You know, your poke is going to start to become more meaningless the longer this game goes on. So we've got to see some sort of miracle Hail Mary come through from Ratas with a big Tibbers, Flash Tibbers, or Rich Forever able to get a really big ultimate onto the backline. But you've got to shut down Dalen and Aeon Zadok here because they have a big shutdowns on their head, and they're really the members
to look at. Here comes Rammus. He's got the R forward, but he rolls right into the cage. And he's going to get shut down immediately. Buttery Dog is also here. And he's flashing over the wall. He's looking for engage onto Zadok. But where's the follow-up? Zadok also has flash. Will dodge out on the final spark. Even gets the chrono break just for good measure. But the side of Neuro Legion had more than enough tools. And now Lotus is going forward with the engaging setup for a beautiful bullet time from Dalen. And they're able to take out the Crocodile as well. It's going to be Ugly James flashing over the wall, trying to stay alive. He's running. He's trying to gun as well. Lotus looking for the bandage toss, not going to be able to find it. It's going to be Ashe going for the cross-map adventure, trying to stay alive right now. But, oh, that's a flash forward. Rich Forever trying to peel for his AD carry. Does have the bandage toss follow-up here. It's going to be Rich Forever just kind of rolling around, trying to escape. But he will get cornered eventually here. Trying to do some alcove gaming here, Adam, but it's just a matter of time. Poor little turtle. Oh, maybe I'm wrong. He's trying to escape here. He's looping back around. He's going behind the Baron pit. While 4 members of Neuro Legion are trying to chase after him. He has the ultimate back off cooldown. He's jumping away from the Zillion here, Adam. The bomb will connect. He's ignited, but he is not going to die. Rich Forever survives what I thought was certain death here. Alcove Gaming really paid off for him this time around, but it will be the Baron going over to the side of Neuro Legion. They weren't able to get the jungler, but they were able to get the objective.
Yep, a little bit unfortunate for the side of New World Warriors, just not on the same page. And unfortunately, this Misfortune just a little bit too strong. We saw Renekton take like 30% HP from one auto attack at the end of that fight. And Misfortune now has completed my favorite item in the game, not Eclipse, but Syzygy. That is the upgraded Ornn item, and Buttery Dog is in trouble.
He is in trouble. He's getting knocked up right now. He's running out of health, and there it is. It just takes down to 0. Buttery Dog taken out here once again. 0 and 5 on the Renekton. Tibbers will suffer a similar fate as the Baroned up Neuro Legion will look to push down bot lane.
Yeah, and Lurdy just sort of stood there and took that. Didn't really take any damage, just upgrading other items. Eternal Winter now complete, or will be completed onto Aeon Zadok eventually, but they're just starting to run down this base, and it looks like Neuro Legion Academy have the bigger brain strategies today. They might be just poised to take game 1 in a hurry now. Yeah,
oh, that is a nice combo from Magnificent, looking for the damage onto Dalen, able to dodge out on that Lucent Singularity very nicely, though. Misfortune able to auto-attack down this mid lane and Hib, and the base is crumbling for the Warriors. They are going to land the Enchanted Crystal Arrow here onto Veigar. He's slowed. He's not going to have a very time getting out of this one. Throws down the cage, and very nicely is able to stun up the Rammus, prevent that engage from coming through. There's going to be the Annie instead who will go down, and that cage is on such a low cooldown at this point in the game. It's going to be the Rammus who drops as well. 5-3 now on the map. Neuro Legion Academy looking to close this one out nice and clean. Call the Forge God now. Looking for the knockups. Will not be able to find it. There's the bullet time, though. That is going to be Ashe dropping as well. And it will be game number 1 going over to NLA.
Yeah, just nice and simple. Unfortunately, the Dark Harvest Renekton was not enough this time around, but we'll have to see if New World Warriors can bring it back in game 2, because I think they've got a little bit more to offer. It's just they sort of got outscaled by the likes of Neuro Legion Academy.
They certainly did. Yes. It was a sub 30-minute game, but even in a relatively quick one, we can already see that scaling coming through. Of course, both Ornn and Veigar did manage to hit 16, and they really were just doing too much for the side of the Warriors to overcome there in that one. I think, can we take a look at the damage charts here, Adam?
Yeah, we'll take a look at the damage charts, and you can see that Misfortune and Veigar did a whole lot of damage, and so did Ornn, actually, out-damaging the whole enemy team. I dare say I'm not surprised, though, because it ended up being slightly one-sided.
It really did, didn't it? The damage charts, I think, illustrate that very nicely. But we will see, you know, New World... It is a best of 3, right? You know, yes. New World Warriors, they could still potentially find their way back into this one. But it appears that they do have their work cut out for them here, Adam. But, you know, I think we will be going to a quick break here. And, you know, give the teams a little bit of time to discuss and prepare for the rest of the series. But don't go anywhere, folks. We will be back with Game 2 between the Warriors and NLA here in just a moment. See you soon. Welcome back, everybody. We have game 2 coming at you right now, going hot right into Champion Select here. New World Warriors taking that Heimerdinger once again off the table, naturally, as well as the Morgana, Neuro Legion taking away the Anidia and the Volibear. Adam, what do you expect to change here in this Champion Select phase for our second game here tonight?
I think a lot of what New World Warriors need to do is draft a little bit more proactively. It seemed like a lot of their plays were reactive to what the side of Neuro Legion Academy were looking for. NLA were able to sort of slow down the game enough to be able to get themselves into a good position, but banning that Veigar is really good from New World Warriors to sort of take that scaling advantage out of the hands.
Absolutely. Just trying to focus a little bit more heavily on Aeon Zadak here in the draft phase. So I agree. I do like that strategy coming out from the New World Warriors here. We'll see if it's effective. It's going to be the Shen ban coming through here from Neuro Legion. I don't quite recall here, Adam, how similar are those Neuro Legion bans to what we saw in our first game? Do you remember?
I believe we saw very similar bans to what came through. The Yanevia Volibear Shen were also banned away, but Misfortune going to get picked up by New World Warriors here. This makes a little bit more sense this time around, just to sort of take that 80 carry off of the table. And Dalen had a really good game on that champion, so no surprise to see that first picked.
Yeah, absolutely. Dalen did have a very strong performance on that pick in the first game. Ugly James going to take it away from him this time around, but look at this, Adam. Lucian Nami locked in for NLA. Doesn't get much more meta than that. Let's see what they can do.
That's a really strong duo, and so is Misfortune Leona, so I'm ready for a very explosive bot lane. Lucian Nami has risen a lot to prominence because of the recent Lucian changes, as well as Imperial Mandate being quite good in the bot lane. So I expect this Lucian Nami to try and dominate the early game, but Misfortune Leona on top of a Rammus is going to have some similar effects to what the Amumu did last game when it was in Neuro Legion's hands. We'll just have to keep an eye on that.
Yeah, absolutely. If they're able to pull off that Wombo combo, then the Warriors will be feeling pretty phenomenally about it. But, you know, that is an if. And Lucian, of course, does have some mobility with the Relentless Pursuit there, or the Relentless Retreat, as, you know, the situation may demand. That is going to be the Amumu locked in once again here, most likely for Lotus there in the jungle here once again, Adam. So we are going to be seeing the exact same jungle matchup that we got in that first game. Misfortune, of course, as we already discussed, has switched sides. But, you know, some relatively similar compositions so far for both of these squads.
Yeah, relatively almost as if it's the same as last game. Of course, the Lucian Nami combo is a little bit different from the Misfortune, plays a little bit differently as well, but it's sort of just the OP bot lane combo, and I'm not surprised to see that come out, but junglers being the same doesn't surprise me at all. I don't think the Rammus was the issue from Rich Forever, and especially when you're as comfortable as he is on a champion, you'd see that come through.
Yeah, absolutely. While we're on the subject, let's see if we can find some Amumu statistics for Lotus here. Nope. Can't find any Amumu statistics. Lotus is not a jungler. He is actually usually a mid laner, apparently. So, no OPGG stats on the Amumu. Sorry, guy.
Yeah, so I think that the Amumu was still pretty good. If anything, it just gives a little bit more agency come team fights, and especially when we saw that Ornn come through from Lurdy, which will be banned away, it was able to have a lot of impact. But this time, Lurdy's going to be put on something a little bit different. We do have mirrored picks this time around, so I'm curious to see which lane they blind pick. I feel like they're going to give that blind pick to Aeon Zadak, but looks like they'll just draft the Malzahar instead, and this is an interesting answer, because we talked about how Banshee's Veil can be pretty good into Rammus, and Malzahar has a Banshee's Veil sort of ingrained into his kit.
He does. He does indeed. Although I will say here, there are a lot of CC abilities already for the Warriors. You know, Leona by herself has literally 3 of them, and Malzahar can only block 1. So, you know, there still could potentially be some strong team fighting here for the Warriors, as that is an auction that has just been locked in. They already have Misfortune, so I'm thinking this is going mid lane for Raptus into the Malzahar here.
Yes, and Garen's locked in. Wow.
He is.
It must be another comfort champion here for Buttery Dog. I think the Ukshan into the Malzahar can be quite good. You match the early wave clear potential, and you're able to roam more effectively than Malzahar, so I'm interested to see how this works out for Ratas. We saw some really good rotations coming through on the Annie last game, so we'll have to see if they can kind of take advantage of that early game and make it kind of translate through a little bit more.
Okay, yeah. So I like what you're saying here. Buttery Dog locking in the Garen. But if you didn't notice, Twitch chat, there was some very, 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 very heavy top lane focus here in the bans for Neurolegion this game. They banned out all 3 of Buttery Dog's most played champions in the Malphite, Scion, and Shen in the first round. So they did not even give him a chance to draft Comfort. They're clearly trying to play through Lurdy this game. They want to try to play through topside. They want to try and ban out Buttery Dog and try and get a win that way. And while we're on the subject here, Adam, let's take a look at those Alawi stats for Lurdy here. Can't find those either. Lurdy is actually an AD carry, unfortunately. But regardless, Buttery Dog will be on something that he is not as comfortable on as he probably would like. And we'll see if that is able to work out for the side of Neurolegion.
Yeah, we've got to see how this Alawi works out, though. I'm really interested to see how this is played by Lurty, because it's not a champion that we see very often, but it can definitely be one that really turns around a game. You have a lot of team fighting potential, and if we get too many people clumped up, Alawi just has an absolute field day when it comes to those team fights. Also quite good at bullying out lanes, so especially into a Garen who is reliant on regen, you always have to be careful of the tentacles coming down in lane.
Yep, definitely. The Alawi Garen matchup it's not one that I'm exceptionally familiar with, but Alawi, of course, can generally do pretty decently into most melee matchups. With those tentacles, can make it a little bit difficult for champions to really engage on her safely. So we'll see how that ends up working out for Lurty here. It is definitely interesting, given the fact that so many top lane bans did come through from Neurolegion, the fact that they would lock in the Alawi, which is, I would argue not a strong side top laner, but maybe you have a different take here, Adam?
I think that it really depends on how the junglers end up playing. Once again, we have some heavy ganking junglers. It just really depends on the lane priority. If we see that Rammus and Amumu come to that top side, it can flip that matchup, but isolated in itself, I think it'll just be a lot of what we expected last game, where the better top laner will end up winning, and Lurty did end up looking like the better top laner just off of that Horn versus Renekton.
Despite the fact that he's not a top laner.
Despite that, but I mean, Alawi can definitely punish a Garen quite heavily, so Buttery Dog just has to be a little bit more careful and maybe get the right runes.
Hopefully.
No play.
We can hope. We'll see what does end up coming through from Buttery Dog here, if it will be the Dark Harvest Garen here for game 2. Maybe that'll be the play. But what do you think about this mid lane here, Adam? Akshan versus Malzahar seems like a pretty spicy one.
I think that Akshan in general, this lane is going to be safe before 6. At 6, it gets a lot more aggressive. Akshan can generally keep the shield off of a Malzahar, the spell shield, at least in that early game with the Avengerang. Also has the roaming advantage over Malzahar, as I was saying, so once it hits level 6, we'll have to see if Akshan can start to dish out that damage. The main issue is that Akshan likes to swing into their enemies and likes to take advantage of ranged champions not having any ways to shut them down. The main issue is that Akshan is going to be swinging right into another grasp, which could lead to fatality for Ratas here.
Well, only after level 6. Pre-level 6, he will not be doing that because Malzahar will not have the nether grasp. So, we'll see if Rich Forever wants to once again look towards that mid lane in the early game. There could be some pretty strong all-in potential there on towards Zadok here. Of course, it didn't really work out for the side of New World Warriors last game, as they did go for that mid lane pressure, and then Zadok just ended up getting a bunch of kills and getting strong. But, we'll see. Game 2 could, of course, potentially be a different story.
And I think one thing to note is if Akshan does go in before level 6, there's still a silence. And the silence kind of messes
Fair
him
enough.
up because all of a sudden you're getting full comboed by the Malzahar, which is basically him rolling his face on his keyboard. So going to be a little bit of a harder to execute lane. But bot lane is going to be interested. I'm interested to see how Dylan and Precious Cupcake are able to play this lane. We saw them play the Misfortune Zillion quite well. But Lucian Nami can be a little bit more volatile. You can either snowball way more out of control or you don't get ahead. And unfortunately, Lucian from behind is not a champion anymore.
Yeah, it's has some similarity to some Caitlyn lane that we've seen in the past, right? Where Caitlyn, the point of picking the champion is that you can hard win lane, you can farm those turret plates and then rotate around the map and transition your advantage all over Summoner's Rift before 15 minutes, just kind of win through lane phase. But Lucian sort of has that same kind of characteristic where if he does get ahead early, he's able to snowball extremely hard and potentially roll over the entire map. But if he fails to do so, then he can potentially be pretty useless.
Yeah, and we've just got to make sure that, or at least Neural Legion need to make sure that this Lucian isn't put far behind. It can be difficult, especially into Misfortune Leona.
Yeah. So we will just have to see how it plays out, folks. We are going to be getting onto the Rift for game number 2 pretty shortly. We are about halfway through the spectator delay, but we are going to be going to a quick break here. Once again, as we load onto the Rift, your casters have to get all set up and all of that good stuff. So please do not go anywhere. We will be back very soon with the potentially final game of this best of 3. Welcome back, Style fans, onto the Rift here for game number 2, New World Warriors versus Neural Legion Academy here on a fine Thursday night. We are having Zarak pushing into the river here. at level 1. Going to get potentially collapsed on. Rich Forever moving up. We do have Lurty moving down from top side. Going to keep mid laner perfectly safe. And, you know, what could have been potentially a spicy early game has pretty much dissolved now into an early game of nothingness.
It was a little bit of just a vision quest,
There's a
so to speak.
vision there. That is a Neurolegion Academy ward on the enemy blue buff. So that's pretty nice.
Yeah, they got their vision. That's what they came for.
It is going to be, once again, a red buff start here for Lotus on the Amumu. Pretty interesting. It's a pattern that it looks like will continue, which Forever also going to be starting on his own red buff once again here. So the junglers potentially going to mimic the exact same paths that they took last game. Remember, guys, NLA won last game. So hopefully Rich Forever has some kind of other twist plan for us here, or his team may suffer a similar fate.
Yeah, we'll have to keep our eye on what sort of happens in those bot side. We saw a really good gank come out from Lotus, but he might have hurt us last game in terms of what I said about his pathing and going for Krugs this time. So,
yeah,
you know, like to see that game-over-game improvement.
Yeah, he is actually mixing it up here. It is going to be Lotus actually going for the full 6 camps potentially here, as he did move up towards those Krugs. Buttery Dog looks like he does have the early push here at level 1 with the Garen. But Alawi, you know, even when pushed in, can't be underestimated.
We'll have to see what happens from there, because Garen can do well into Alawi. I think that's one thing that we sort of went over. Garen can definitely take over that lane, and Alawi from behind is sort of similar to Lucian, where it can be quite useless, but just got to keep an eye on where these lanes are going to end up winning, and that's really my main focus. I want to see if Lurty can sort of replicate that performance from last game and hitting level 3 first here.
Yeah, it does land the E onto Garen there, able to get a lot of damage down onto the clone, and Buttery Dog will lose out on that particular trade. Zabak throwing down the visions onto Ratas's Auction here. But Auction still feeling pretty healthy here in the first few levels. Ratas able to get that lane priority in mid lane, while his jungler looking topside. We got a 2v1 here. Lurty may be in some trouble. He does have a minion wave to work with, able to prevent Rammus from getting the knockback, and has Buttery Dog pretty low here as well, but he is silenced, and now he's taunted with a tentacle, gets the kill, and Alawi's looking for more now. Lurty, he's burning down to the red buff, and it will be Rich Forever flashing into the bush and securing that one for the squad. Ratas even roaming up to make sure that that one didn't go too far sideways, but still, Lurty able to pick up that sweet, sweet first blood.
Yeah, really well played by the Alawi, and that's the sort of fear you get whenever you're looking for that gank. You saw how long she was able to stay alive, and Lurty able to turn that one around. We're probably going to see the Gordraker come out, which means that a lot of healing going to come down, and Rich Forever is going to have to make sure that they get that Bramble Vest early and make those ganks count a little bit more, because Buttery Dog just looked a little bit out of place on that gank, and especially with the Test of Spirit, you take a lot of damage over time.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, Buttery Dog, he tried to stack the crowd control. He tried to line up his silence to match up well with the taunt coming through from the Rammus, but it just wasn't enough. He was just a little bit too out of position when the play started off. Took a little bit too much damage, and Lurty was able to outplay that one very nicely. And you can see this Alawi continuing to push in the Garen up here, continuing to get that top pressure. Looking like a little bit of a top diff here, 2 games in a row, as Leona going in with the Zenith Blade, gonna get Nami stunned up here. Purchase Cupcake able to get killed here in the 2v2, straight up inside of New World Warriors with the better bot lane.
Yeah, and that doesn't bode well. Lurty's in a little bit of trouble again, or is he?
Oh, he is. He's in another 1v2, but that's exactly where Alawi wants to be, RareAdam, as he look at those tentacles just doing work on the dog down there. Rich Forever. Rammus, get out of there. Stop auto-attacking the Alawi. Rich, no, get out of there. No, he's going down. 2-1 now for Lurty in the top side.
Stop ganking the Alawi. Just stop it.
Just stop it, please.
Just no, go away. Go bot lane.
Anywhere else.
on the Nami. Really well played by Ugly James and Magnificent to be able to land that combo down, but topside, just, you gotta leave it alone. You have to just get Grievous wounds first. You have to look for something onto Lurdy, and still has Flash, has the ultimate now. Buttery Dog might be in a world of hurt.
Pressured him yet.
Oh no.
Lurdy hasn't even left his comfort zone. He hasn't even reached his final form. He has the Alawi ultimate ready to go. He probably could have just gone for the straight up tower dive on the Garen there, but he's respecting the dog a little bit more than maybe he needs to, as the level 6 does finally come through for the Garen. And that was a Cloud Dragon, secured on the opposite side of the rift as well. Neural Legion Academy winning out across the map here once again in game number 2.
And they're winning in the earlier game. This might be trouble though.
Woo. Oh, Buttery Dog! Oh, Buttery Dog! With the shutdown, Demacia will find its justice onto Lurdy, and the Alawi will no longer be able to pressure here on top side.
And that's why Garen can turn around that lane. You have the execute to just sort of chunk him out from 30% HP, but fighting in this... Oh, never mind. No fighting.
Junglers just saying hi to each other down here. Hello, I am here. I am also here. Goodbye.
Yeah. Oh, just a little bit of trading back and forth, but overall, this top side is going to become even more volatile with Garen getting a couple of items now. Means that they can start to go toe-to-toe. I'm expecting these top laners to really just start to go, just start beating each other up. And in this mid lane, though, we've got to keep our eye on Aeon Zadak. This is a better laning phase coming out from this Malzahar against the Akshan. And if they can start to look for some roaming advantages, we might see this mid lane get fed as we did last game. That was really how Ratas was able to get fed on the Annie, but now playing against that Malzahar hasn't had too much success.
Zenith Blade going in. Magnificent does eat the bow, but he's not in tower range. Culling does come out from Dalen. Level 5 for both of these bot laners, flashing away from the bandage toss. But Lotus, you know he's got that second charge ready to go. Oh. He's locked up the Leona. Magnificent going back in, trying to buy time. And he will be able to buy that time, but at the cost of his own life. Going down for the first time this game on the Leona. 3-3 now in kills. Gold's still pretty close. We may have a game 2 on our hands here, Adam.
Yeah, and that's looking tough because that's what you don't want to give over to a Lucian. Interesting that Rich didn't commit for that play with Misfortune in the area, but no level 6 yet on this Misfortune means that she doesn't have the damage to be able to kill that Lucian. But topside, once again, they're just going at it.
That's Lurdy dropping the ultimate right now. Dog is doing the exact correct play and will just run straight away from that Alawi and deny any value from that ultimate. Very nicely played by the Buttery Gentleman up here on top side. And he will be able to return to the minion wave here and farm that up relatively effectively. Is still down about 15 CS, but considering how those first few levels and those first couple of ganks from the jungler went, I am pretty satisfied with how Buttery Dog's been able to turn this one around, as we are seeing some more fighting here. He is taking a lot of damage, but he's still alive.
Yeah,
now.
It's tough for Buttery Dog here. Lurdy still has a little bit of a gold lead if we actually look at it right now. It is about 600 gold, and that shows in the items. So not taking as much damage with those plated steel caps, and just able to walk up. Oh my goodness, my turn though.
He's looking for it. He has the Garen R again. He's looking. Oh, he can't quite find it. Lurdy with the healing, able to pick up the kill there. And now the support roam. Ooh. Support dip in the mid lane. It's going to be Cupcake going down. And now Zadak maybe in some trouble here. Akshan has plenty of damage. He's got the He's grappling underneath the tier 1 tower. Is able to pick up a couple of kills.
There's kills everywhere on this map. What is going on?
Outside Curse the Sad Mummy. Now Rich in some trouble. Does the second bandage toss available. There is the smite, but you're not going to get any healing from the minions here, Rich. And he just kind of rolls straight into the mummy. Lotus able to make a friend in the form of a dead turtle.
There was a lot happening on that map. Lurchy's able to get the kill on top side, Lucian able to get the kill on bot side, and then Amu able to clean up the Remus. But in that mid lane, Leona able to kill down the Nami. Malzahar gets taken down by Akshan as well, so just trades all over the map. In the end, this Rift Child's going to get put down, and Lotus should be able to pick up that first turret. And
yeah,
Neural Legion Academy played a very scaling comp last game. They've switched up their mind and said, we're going to play this early game comp. And thus far, it's working out pretty well. This is 1,300 gold lead, and that's nothing to scoff at. A lot of that is coming through that top lane, though, as Alawi is up 1,200 gold and is looking to continue to expand that lead. We might see some roams come out from this Alawi as well, considering there's no tower. but for the time being, just going to continue to try and bully out Buttery Dog.
Yeah, absolutely. I do think also an honorable mention should go over towards the mid lane there. Ratas has been able, or excuse me, Zadak has been able to secure a significant CS advantage over Ratas here in our second game. That was a little bit unfortunate, as we do see a fight breaking out here, and that is going to be Lucian face checking the wrong bush. He is going to take a bullet time straight to the face, and it's going to be Dragon number 2 going over to the side of the Warriors. Buttery Dog continuing to get pushed in up here. Here comes the Alawi ultimate. That is so much damage. The Garrett is just getting one shot right now by the enemy top laner. Looks like he will just barely be able to escape. But it looks like the tier 2 now is under some threat. 11 minutes and 30 seconds in. Zadak able to dodge out. Oh, that's the taunt getting eaten by the spell shield, but it's not gonna matter. He will get locked up in the end and taken out. 4-man play in the mid lane side of the Warriors. Able to finally secure a decisive advantage on the map here. Tower now under fire as well, looking for that third turret plate, and they will be able to get it, but they're not going to get the full tower, as now Lotus has the opportunity to go in, and it's going to be Leona getting a 3-man Curse of the Sad Mummy Lotus with a massive ultimate, and it's going to be I'm Dalen picking up the double kill here on the Lucian. We have the teleport coming down now, but Buttery Dog, you're just teleporting in to watch the play already be lost. Completely wasted summoner spell there for the Warriors top laner, as a nice play from Lotus and Dalen, able to get the team fight win in mid lane. That's a bubble landing, and Alawi is here for the follow-up, but they won't be able to get much more. Still a team fight win for NLA.
Yeah, you can see that they're just able to continuously find advantages on the back end of plays. Like, despite, you know, Malzahar going down, despite Lucian getting killed earlier on in that play before the Dragon, they're able to get the respawns through, and Lucian gets a double kill. And Dalen's in a really good spot.
There's a solar flare on it, too. That's very nice engage from Magnificent. Beautifully done, as Lurdy is locked up now. And he doesn't have the Alawi ultimate available quite yet, but it's not going to be needed to pick up that kill onto Buttery Dog. Dalen gonna block some of that auction ultimate, but he's lines himself up for the Zenith Blade, fails the flash as well. It's gonna be Leona picking up the kill, and now Alawi in some trouble here. Magnificent gonna have the Zenith Blade off cooldown soon. Lotus is also here. The bandage toss locks up the Leona, sets up for the counter play from Alawi, able to get that kill. Second shot of the bandage toss. Lotus looking for more. The Amumu doing so much work right now in this fight. Lotus continuing to press forward. He doesn't have any Q charges left. He's trying to get the damage. He has his mid laner rotating up. He even commits the Nether Grasp there. Does Zadak. Didn't actually need it, I think. But regardless, gonna be able to secure that kill onto this Fortune. 11 to 10 now. NLA. They are sitting on a couple thousand gold lead here as well.
Yeah, just a lot of kills getting traded back and forth, and once again, it is blow for blow from both of these teams, but it's still going in favor of Neuro Legion Academy. Aeon Zadak able to get on the board there, but I'm Dylan is really strong right now, 5-2, despite having a couple of really odd deaths. Did try and save Lurty in that last play, and overall, it's just paying off in spades for them. They're able to get gold on the most important members. Meanwhile, Leona's been picking up a couple of shutdowns. Rammus has 4 kills. These aren't the members that you want to get fed. And in some ways, that's going to hurt them come later game, because this Lucian's going to build a Seralda's Grudge. We're going to have Alawi maybe building some more Armor Shred as well into Black Cleaver, have that Sterix to be really difficult to kill. So the kills are on exactly who Neuro Legion want it to be on, and exactly on the opposite of what New World Warriors want. But Ratas and Rich Forever might be trying to sneak around here, but they get spotted up on pink ward.
Yeah, they will just be clearing out a little bit of vision down there in the tri-buff. You've got a 3-man push coming through right now from HLA here in the mid lane. Solar Flare coming out in response. Zenith Blade, that's going to be Magnificent going in. He's trying to lock up this Lucian. Rich Forever in here with the Rammus Ultimate as well, locking up Dylan with the taunt. It's going to be a 1-for-1 so far at the beginning of this fight. Actually, 2-for-1. It's the side of the New World Warriors coming out huge right now, able to get the team fight win. Auction getting a kill there, able to revive Misfortune and Leona as well. It would have been a 2-for-2. But Ratas able to revive his teammates here. Rammus potentially looking for the tower dive onto Cupcake here, but just looking for the turret kill instead. And they are going to be able to get their first turret of the game here on the side of the Warriors.
And those revives actually stopped Alawi from taking that tier 2 tower as well. So in the end, Akshan gets a really big revive, so overall
Yeah.
not the worst play, but Aeon is looking for a play, has another grasp, but top
Another
side.
Zenith played magnificent, but you're onto the Alawi this time. You got to be careful there, Leona. That's not a target that you can just lock down without any danger, and it will just be backing away here. Alawi is so strong at this point in the game. 130 CS, 60 CS, almost doubling the CS of Buttery Dog right now is Lurty here on this Alawi. And he has both summoners available as well as the ultimate.
Yeah, and it's interesting because Lurty, as you said, is an 80 carry player, and just a lot of damage.
Well, at least he has practice farming creeps, right?
Oh, yeah, good practice farming creeps. Going to get that top turret as well, and now that top lane is just absolutely blown wide open, Buttery Dog's going to need some sort of support. Otherwise, Alawi's just going to continue to push down the tower. Solar Flare.
Look at this Leona engage. Magnificent is going straight in here. His team is not in position to follow up here. Magnificent just way too far forward. Gives himself over for nothing. And it's now going to be a 4v3 here in the bot side river. Looking for their second dragon here. Rammus in the pit. He's not going to be able to find it. There's going to be a dragon secured by the side of NLA. We're looking for more kills now. Rammus has gone down. Ratcha's firing off the Auction Ultimate now, trying to get that revive. Not going to be able to find it. It's a team fight win on top of an objective secure for NLA in the bot side river.
Yeah, Magnificent going in way too early, I think, and unfortunately the Rammus just jumped over the wall a bit early as well. It is the Malzahar who picks that up with the dot, so really interesting to see that come through, but these 80 carries are going at it, and both of them have a lot of damage on their sides. Interesting to see that Leona go for a Frostfire Gauntlet, though. A little bit of an expensive item overall. Would have liked to maybe see the Locket come through, or if going for one of those tank items, Turbo Chem Tank is, I think, a lot better, but look at all of the Grievous Wounds coming through as well. They know the power of this Alawi, who has finished her Hull Breaker now, as well as the healing coming through off of Nami onto Lucian, so they are prioritizing those Grievous Wounds, and really the only person who doesn't have them is Leona, and she's probably the one who spreads them the least.
Yeah. You know what, Adam? To be honest, I don't really care how much Grievous Wounds New World Warriors have. I don't think Lurty is dying in the solo lane anymore on that 2-item spike. That is just ridiculous. Give it, assuming that he doesn't have any teammates nearby so that he can get the passive, excuse me, from Hullbreaker. Assuming that is the case, I don't think he's dying, but we'll see. You know, maybe the Grievous Wounds will be enough. But while we're on the subject of items here, Adam, can you talk to me a little bit about the Wit's End rush here for Rat on the mid lane auction? What's going on there?
So, Wit's End first item I don't like as much now, especially after the nerfs. Oh my goodness, we'll talk about it after.
Flare going in, Magnificent, connects the Zenith blade, but maybe a little bit too far forward. Once again, forced to flash out immediately. Clearly comes out, another grasp onto the Rammus. He is just going to get completely 100 to 0'd, and now Magnificent onto the tower will fall as well. Dalen with a flash, relentless pursuit forward, able to pick up the kill. Nami almost going down in return. Illusion actually eating a turret shot there as well.
Oh no.
But will not fall. And Lurty down here in top side. He's in a 1v2. But again, guys, that's exactly where Alawi wants to be. Look at all this damage. He's getting down onto the Garen. Looking for just a little bit more is all he needs. There it is.
In trouble.
Lurty in a 1v2, looking for the outplay. He's got the damage on auction as well. It wasn't even close, ladies and gentlemen. Lurty with a 1v2, carrying his team to victory.
Yep, that's what you do when you fight a Hullbreaker Alawi who is hunting alone. Rich forever. Player 3?
Their third player to sacrifice himself to the Alawi moves in to commit the deed as Lotus underneath the tower just to help his top laner secure the kill. Will be able to do so very nicely. Goes ahead and eats that ignite from Magnificent as well. Lurty looking for the delayed quadra kill here onto Magnificent. Will not quite be able to find it, but the jungle, bot side jungle of New World Warriors will be forfeit here as the Lurty continues to pressure here in the bot lane. Zadok also pressuring mid at the same time. It's a full court press right now from NLA, as that is the flash forced out from the Alawi. A nice solar flare from Magnificent set that one up. Can you really chase forward? You don't have any vision. You have no control at all over your own jungle. It seems like just a matter of time before the Warriors get choked out of this one here, Adam.
And a big part of that is just the fact that Alawi is only gated by her own mana pool, which is the main reason why she didn't take that fight and flashed over the wall. She wouldn't have had enough mana to get out, but has that Leap of Faith back up and available. And I feel like this is one of those games as a color caster where I'm like, yeah, I get to say something really briefly, and then I know there's going to be 3 minutes of action. Just because Alawi, every time she's in that side lane, is a threat to kill, and now up 8,000 gold, picking up the blue buff so she doesn't run into those mana issues anymore, means that she's just going to be relentless on that split push. And Dalen, 9-3-2, has 2.5 items complete, has that Lord Dominic's guard to cut through the front line of Garen, Rammus, and Leona, and they're just going to walk right over to this Baron.
Yeah, I will say, my voice is getting a little bit tired, but I think you may be right, Adam. We're looking at another fight breaking out here as the side of NLA starting up Baron on Vision. Gonna just go ahead and get engaged on. Fight breaking out now in the top side. Rich Forever jumping into the pit with the Rammus ultimate. Able to get the shot down onto Lucian. But now Lurdy in the middle of the entire enemy team. Able to get off a beautiful Leap of Faith. Able to get a ridiculous amount of damage down. And it's gonna be a 4-for-1 in favor of NLA. Baron on top.
Yeah, doesn't even need to be hunting alone, doesn't get the bonus Hullbreaker stats, and just jumps right into that middle of the fight. Picking up a triple kill, getting so many tentacles down, and you'll lose the Lucian. It's a big shutdown, but at the end of it all, you're going to be able to pick up that Baron, walk over to this Infernal, pick that up too, and they are poised to end this game. 10,000 gold lead. It is only 22 minutes into this one, and we've had ourselves 37 kills, and we've got to thank Lurty and I'm Dallin for that. They've been 19 of the 24 kills, and this is just looking really rough for this side of New World Warriors. You can't win the side lane now. You're having trouble winning the 4v4, and it's going to be a rough road if they're going to come back into this one.
Yeah, no kidding. Already a 10,000 gold lead. Infernal, Soul Point, and Baron for the side of Neurolegion Academy. They have everything that they could possibly need to pressure the map and just kind of finish this one out. We are seeing Lurty move towards that bottom lane. Doesn't have the teleport ready to go at the present time, but regardless, it will be NLA playing on 2 lanes here. Lotus still coming out of base, so they should be playing a little bit slowly for now until their jungler can join up with them. But once he does, I expect this to just be a slow and deadly push forward into the New World Warriors base. As that is Misfortune at half HP. Rata's in some trouble now. There's the culling coming out. And nicely from Dalen dodging away, but didn't know that Rammus was there. Gonna get locked up by the turtle. That's a bubble onto 2, but it doesn't matter. The AD carry is already dead. Now Lowy pushing by herself on the bot side. It's gonna be the 3-man squad left in mid, forced to back away. They're gonna send the entire team. They're gonna try and send the entire team down here to stop Lurdy here, Adam. He's gonna go for the 1v5 right now. It's gonna happen. Here comes a Leap of Faith. There's the bullet time over the top. That's Lotus going underneath the tier 3 tower with the bandage toss. Lurdy looking for more damage. The Garen ultimate will be committed onto the Mumu, and they will take him out. 2 for 2 here so far on the map. The bot lane push continuing to come through. Lurdy and Zadok continuing to press forward, looking for this tier 3 tower. That is the Alawi connecting onto Garen. There's a lot of damage onto the enemy top laner, but Auction is here, and he will be able to push these NLA members back after only securing the turret.
Man, what is going on with this Alawi? She's 11-3-2. She has no fear, and these bubbles coming out from Precious Cupcake are really good as well. You can see pushing open these tier 3 turrets. Inhibitors are now exposed, and despite Dallin dying really early in the last 2 fights, we've just seen them kind of go right into their plan, which is send more than 2 members for Alawi and let her get an ultimate off, and then question marks, because after that it's sort of doomed if you're trying to kill that Alawi. If she gets 4 or 5 tentacles up, it's going to be really tough to take her down. And this Baron, quite efficient. They picked up a couple of tier 3 towers, and Alawi's just going to go back to work up on that top side.
Yeah, the gold lead is just continuing to slowly grow in favor of Neurolegion Academy. They have had tempo on the map for pretty much the last 20 straight minutes, it feels like, as Magnificent is going to walk forward and get the spell shoot off of Malzahar. That's a flash Zenith Blade. Looking for the kill now. They will be able to get it onto Zadok. A little bit too far forward, and that's the Chemtech getting popped. That's going to be Dylan getting locked up as well. There's the Auction ultimate, but it's going to be Lotus diving in there to block the Auction damage from coming through. Radas not able to find another kill. It will be one pick secured by the side of New World Warriors, but will it be enough?
Yeah, wow, just really good play from Lotus. Oh my goodness, Lotus going in.
Oh, that's flashing in. Lurdy going for the leap
No
of
mana.
faith. He's taunted up now. He's silenced,
No
but he
mana,
has
no
so
mana,
much
no mana,
HP
no mana.
still, but he's out of mana. Adam, he gets taken down here. The 1v5 does not work out for the Alawi this time around. Commits the flash there as well. So Lurdy perhaps overstepping a bit there in top lane. They do have 2 exposed inhibitors, but neither has been taken out yet, Adam.
Yeah, I think, well, actually with 3 exposed inhibitors
3?
as the
Oh,
tower
yeah,
goes
yeah.
down.
Yeah.
Lurty just a little bit too overzealous. Doesn't have the tier that sometimes we see built on the Alawi, going for the man immune, so instead just going for straight healing basically with that death stance as well. A little bit overzealous, but honestly, when you're an 11-3 Alawi in that situation, you are feeling yourself and you say, I want to go for this play. Dragon is spawning in about 30 seconds, so maybe with Infernal Soul, she's able to survive that even without having that much mana, but she's going to be up and alive for this. 3 exposed inhibitors, as you said. Worst case scenario, they can just stall around this dragon and TP in.
Yeah, absolutely. Lurdy can be here for this play, no problem. Although Dalen is a bit far. He based at a very inopportune time and is not moving right now. So Lucian will not be available for this fight for the Infernal Soul, unfortunately, as the side of New World Warriors are positioned behind the pit currently. Lotus and Lurdy trying to pressure forward. Lotus going in now, but again, Lucian is not here. Does get an ultimate onto 3, but there is no follow-up right now.
Oh.
Lurdy doesn't move forward as well. There's another grasp committed onto the Garen, and they will take out Buttery Dog. Lotus in there once again with the second charge of the bandage toss. Able to get some good damage down. That's the Alawi ultimate committed here. Auction taken out on the side as well. That's a couple of kills. That's 3 kills now. Going over to the side of NLE, and they're looking for Lotus here, trying to take out this NLA jungler, but they're not going to be able to do it. It's Ram is just forced to roll away for his life. Rich Forever not able to find anything here, and it's going to be the Infernal Soul taken by Neuro Legion Academy.
Yeah, Neuro Legion Academy now have Infernal Soul, and you got this Malzahar who can spread it very well. They're going to go over to this Baron now. Amumu has actually had a standout game as well. 4-2-16, 20 out of 29 kill participation. Has been everywhere on this map. And Lucian, if he's able to stay alive, just does so much damage as well. His Baron should be quick to fall. And despite them having a couple of misplays with that last Baron, I think this one will be the one to break the camel's back, because they've got themselves Infernal Soul now. They're up to a 12,500 gold lead, and it looks like they might just end the game on this next push. This should be the march to death.
Yeah, absolutely, Adam. They've already taken all of the tier 3 turrets, so don't have to worry about those at all. The angle, I think, is pretty much just walk into the enemy base, take all of the inhibitors, and then wait for your minion waves and end the game. And, you know, we'll see if NLA are able to execute that game plan effectively here. They are just all walking down mid lane right now, which I think is exactly where you want to be. And we'll just have to wait and see how this fight looks. Ratas trying to flank down here from the bot side. Trevor also down here, potentially looking for some kind of engage angle onto maybe a Lucian, who is a little bit separated from the team. But Lurdy is just so strong on this Alawi. He's 3 levels up on his opposition there in the lane, but only level 14 still. That's Rammus going in right now. That's actually Garen, excuse me. He was in the middle of the entire enemy team, and he will just get absolutely deleted as the Nami wave comes through, gets a knock up onto 2, and that's going to be game here, Adam, as another kill comes through. Ratas goes down, Leona goes down, Rich Forever rolls around in a circle, but he has nothing at all that he could possibly do to try and save the game. He does get a taunt onto Lotus underneath the Nexus turret, but the Nexus turret has just been destroyed, and so has Rich Forever, and that will be the side of Neuro Legion Academy winning 2-0 in tonight's best of 3.
Yeah, really good stuff coming out from Neuro Legion Academy. They had some really strong drafts coming through for themselves. They were just able to execute on all levels. That last game, 11 towers to 1, double the kills, and that Alawi from Lurty was just a little bit too insane. Let's take a look at the damage, and no surprises. 0 surprises here. I am wholly not surprised.
Yep. Yep, that was an Alawi game if I've ever seen one. As Lurdy just absolutely went off. He did really well in the first game as well. I think we can comfortably say that he was the player of the series. No vote really required for this one.
I think we can agree. I want to give another shout out there to Dylan, though, who had a really strong game from the bot side as well. Didn't do as much damage this time around, but last game on that Misfortune did carry a huge load of that as well. And I think that overall, the side of Neural Legion Academy just looked to outmatch New World Warriors. Of course, New World Warriors had some really bright spots as well. Rich Forever played very well on this Rammus, was able to get around, and Ratas had a couple of fights where they could have turned it on that Akshan. Just a little bit unfortunate that Lurdy got that fed as quickly, and we'll have to see if New World Warriors can regroup and come back with a new vengeance.
Yeah, absolutely right there, Adam. So, no interviews tonight, correct? Do you have anything else?
We're actually going to end up with an interview with Lurty, but on the plunge, which starts in 17 minutes. So, if you want more style action, come join us on the podcast where you get to see my actual face, and you get to join us. Axeman will be joining us. Baymax will be joining us as well. So, if you're interested in that, we're going to get an interview with Lurky, and stay tuned for that stuff, man.
Excellent stuff, guys. Yeah, absolutely. Lurty, fresh off his 2-0 victory tonight, will be getting interviewed over there on the. You said it was the plunge.
Yes, we call it it's a pun on the dive, right? Well, we call it the plunge instead.
Yeah, where can we find this podcast there, Adam?
On our channel. We're gonna end the stream here. We're gonna regroup with Baymax and Axe. Yes, Baymax and Axe. I just realized, very fitting, sort of rhyming there. And then we'll be back.
Sounds great. Well, from myself tonight, guys, my job is done here as the series is concluded. But from the production team over here at Style, thank you guys very much for watching, and stay tuned because we are going to have some more content coming up here on the channel very, very shortly. Thank you guys for watching. Don't go anywhere.